Hi, this is Friar Tim, again with the third in our series, responding to your particular questions. And today we'll respond to a question: what is your advice for responding to a friend when they come out to you? Well, my first bit of advice is to use precisely the same kind of level of respect and compassion and sensitivity that I talked about back in the first video. That is, it's a humbling thing when someone trusts you enough to tell you something deep and intimate and personal about them. So you tread very, very delicately and very, very lightly, with a huge amount of respect, with a great amount of empathy and compassion and understanding, and a great amount of sensitivity. Now, if you're somewhat freaked out by hearing this, you don't project that onto the person. You don't kind of vomit that back out onto the person. If you are a little bit freaked out with that, then you step back later on and you work out your own stuff yourself, okay? But it's to listen with empathy when someone tells you their story, to trust and to see that somehow this story, with all of its twists and turns and warps and woofs and excitements and joys and sorrows and pain, that you've been entrusted to hear that is a sacred thing in and of itself. So mostly you listen. And if you ask questions more about how did you feel when blank, blank, blank? Or how are you when blank, blank, blank? It's about their story and listening to them. My second word of advice is Bishop Robert Barron, when he talks about evangelization, says that we always start with the beautiful, never do we start with the good. So what does that mean? That means that we start with listening to the beauty and the goodness of the story in and of itself. We do not jump to moral persuasions. We do not jump to moral condemnations. We do not jump immediately to sexual expression. We do not judge immediately any of these kinds of issues on a moral basis. We simply do not go there at first. Now, some might object, well, this means that you're soft-pedaling Catholic teaching. No, it does not mean that. It does mean that I am sensitive enough, and my whole goal here is to keep my friend connected to Jesus Christ. My whole goal here is not to prove myself morally superior or morally judgmental and prove them they're somehow inferior. So that means in my act of evangelization, I exhibit a great amount of patience about all of this stuff. That eventually the time will come when we do need to talk about the moral issues implicit in this. But before I would go to the moral issues with this, I would myself go and talk this out with either Friar Tim or Friar Bill, and I'd invite my friend to talk this out with Friar Tim and Friar Bill. Because not all of us have a real clear, nuanced, but genuine Catholic understanding on ethical issues, period, and particularly ones around the issues of human sexuality. So the first one, again, respect, compassion, and sensitivity. And the second is underline the beautiful and wait a little bit before dealing with the good. Thank you very much.